All right, listen up. I see this mistake all the time. Most people are playing the game completely wrong and they don't even realize it. They read books, binge motivational videos, buy courses, but years later, same place, same problems, same life. Now, pay attention. Success isn't about feeling productive. It's not about reading another self-help book and convincing yourself that you're making progress. It's about exposure, seeing how the world actually works instead of getting stuck in theory. And the craziest part is no one teaches you this. Not school, not your parents, and definitely not those Instagram gurus flexing their rented Lambos, because here's the truth. The real top 1%, the ones who actually made it, they don't play by the same rules as everyone else. They figured out shortcuts, the ones which put them ahead faster while everyone else grinds harder and gets absolutely nowhere. I spent years studying these people, how they think, what they do differently, and by applying those same principles, I became one of them. So if you've ever felt like you're working your ass off but still stuck, this video is for you. And before you even ask, no, I have nothing to sell you. No course, no ebook, so sit back and actually listen, because in this video, I'm breaking down the exact principles that helped me build a multi-million-dollar net worth at a very young age. And here's my promise. You won't hear the same old self-improvement cliches about cold showers, meditation, or journaling. Not that these things are bad, I do them myself, but let's be real. None of them are going to actually make you a millionaire. Now, with that out the way, let's get into it. Now, before we get into the real advice, let me ask you something. Have you ever noticed how rich people's children seem to have an unfair advantage? I mean, their mindset about wealth is already wired in. They don't carry the same limiting beliefs about money that most people do. And instead of coping, they actually care about ambition and success. That's what you need to learn first and foremost. The first thing, get a taste of the game early. As I said earlier, rich kids seem to have an unfair edge over average people like you and me. But it's not just because of money, it's because they get exposed to success very early in their life. While you're learning about life from school teachers, they're learning it from investors, business owners, and power players. And here's why that matters. You can't become something that you've never seen. If you're surrounded by average, you'll think that average is normal. And that's the biggest trap, because when normal means living paycheck to paycheck, success feels like an impossible dream. But the second that you get real exposure, your entire frame of reference changes. Most people spend years grinding in the wrong circles, wondering why nothing changes. But you need to understand that success has a scent, and the earlier that you get a whiff of it, the easier it is to chase. Rich kids aren't just exposed to money, they're exposed to high-level thinking, connections, and conversations that shape their ambitions before they even know it. If you've ever seen wealth up close, it'll always feel distant, like something that happens to other people. But when you step into environments where success is the norm, you stop questioning whether it's possible and start focusing on how to get there. The goal isn't to just see the game, it's to start playing it. So what do you actually do? You need to force your exposure to the world of high-level players. The earlier you do it, the faster your mindset will begin to adjust. Imagine two kids learning how to swim. One grows up near the ocean, constantly playing in the waves, and the other one just reads books about swimming but never jumps in. When it's time to race, who do you think has the edge? Without a doubt, you'll answer who wins. That's what exposure does to you. And before you start throwing random excuses at me, here's a couple methods you can use to start getting real exposure. The first thing, work under a millionaire, even if it's for free, because the proximity is worth 1,000 times more than a simple salary. The second one is finding invite-only events in your city. Many of them have free passes for young entrepreneurs. The third thing is offer value to people above you. Don't just ask for things, give them a reason to keep you around. When you start seeing how successful people think, move, and operate, you'll start to realize something. They're not smarter than you. They just see the game differently because they've been in the right rooms. But only getting into the right rooms isn't the answer. There's something even more important. And without this next principle, no matter how powerful the room is, you'll walk away with nothing. Number 2, upgrade your communication skills. Now that you've entered the right rooms, let's talk about how you actually make an impact there. Because here's what most people get wrong. They think success is just about what you know. And while that's partially true, success is about who knows you and how they remember you. In high-level environments, nobody cares about your potential. They care about how you present it. That's why the people who often get the best opportunities aren't necessarily always the smartest. They're the best communicators. And just like the old saying goes, the most powerful person in any room is rarely the smartest. It's the one who can make others listen, trust, and take action. Great communicators don't just talk. They influence. They know how to tell stories that make people feel something. They know how to use silence just as effectively as words. And most importantly, they know that in high-level conversations, the right question is worth more than 1,000 statements. And if you can't clearly express your thoughts, you'll always be undervalued. The world doesn't reward silent geniuses. It rewards those who can make others believe in their vision. Learn to articulate your ideas with confidence because the right words can open doors that talent alone cannot. I'm not asking you to become a professional speaker, but understand the basics of what makes a good communicator. Learn persuasive storytelling, the ability to make people listen and remember you. Improve your tonality and body language because people will judge you in seconds. Master the skill of asking great questions because the smartest person in the room isn't the one talking the most. It's the one making others talk. Number 3, I like to call the 70-30 rule of learning and doing. If you're being honest with yourself, you probably fall into one of 2 of these categories. 1, the type of person who only reads books, watches videos, and takes courses thinking knowledge alone will make them successful. Or 2, the one taking random action without actually learning anything, wasting years, and making dumb mistakes. Both are equally dangerous. I don't care what anyone says, you need both because life is very fair. Every now and then you're going to have to juggle between the 2 types. Sometimes you'll have to just shut up and learn, and other times you need to shut down all the noise and just take raw action. Most people spend years trying to feel ready before they take action. The problem is you'll never feel ready. The only way to bridge that gap is by doing it, messing up, adjusting, and moving forward. Execution is the great equalizer. Those who take action win. Therefore, I suggest everyone on this journey follow the 70-30 rule. 70% execution and 30% learning. For every hour that you spend consuming content, you should spend 2 hours applying it. If you watch a course, implement the lessons immediately. Don't just read books, summarize them and apply them to your situation. Balance education with execution so you don't get stuck in learning mode, because action beats knowledge, but smart action beats everything. And that perfectly connects to my next piece of advice. Number 4, stack skills that multiply your income. Here's something no one tells you. Your income isn't just based on hard work. It's based on how many valuable skills you can stack together. The reason that some people stay broke forever is that they simply rely on just one skill. But the most successful people, they combine multiple high-value skills that amplify each other. Have multiple weapons in your arsenal instead of being a one-trick pony. The marketplace doesn't reward effort, it rewards value. And the easiest way to skyrocket your value is to stack skills that compound over time. The best opportunities go to those who can combine skills in a way that makes them irreplaceable. This combination will get you shit done when most people stay clueless. Learn how to sell, because no matter what industry you're in, sales skills will always make you money. Master copywriting. The ability to persuade through writing is a superpower in the digital age. Develop public speaking, because the better you can articulate your ideas, the more influence that you have. And understand basic investing so you can actually make your money work for you instead of you just working for money. Each skill on its own is powerful, But when you stack them together, you become unstoppable. And that brings me to my last and final tip, something almost everyone has heard of, but very few actually understand. Number 5, surround yourself with players, not fans. Here's the truth. Behind this advice, most people surround themselves with fans, not players. And these fans, they will praise every single thing you do instead of calling you out on your bullshit. They'll sugarcoat everything. They talk about success, they dream about success, but they actually never chase it. And when you're in that environment for too long, it will rub off on you. Imagine trying to become a great boxer while only training with people who never step in the ring. You need sparring partners, not just hype men. And I say this from personal experience because when I started on this path, I used to be surrounded by people who always talked about big aspirations. They had plans, starting businesses, getting in shape, achieving success. At first, it felt like we were all on the same path, dreaming about the future. But as time passed, I started noticing a pattern. They kept talking, but nothing ever changed. Months went by, same goals, same conversations. Meanwhile, I was taking the small steps, reading, learning, taking action. At first, I didn't want to admit it. I mean, these were my friends. I thought, maybe they'll start soon. But deep down, I knew if I kept waiting for them, I'd eventually get stuck too. And that's when I made the toughest decision. I started spending time with people who actually did the work. Not just talkers, but doers. People who have constantly pushed me, challenged me, and made me uncomfortable in the best way possible. And that single change, it made all the difference. And I didn't just start growing, I actually started winning. Because when you surround yourself with players, not fans, you don't just stay in the game, you actually dominate it. From this point onwards, I mean this exact moment, I want you to cut out anyone who sugarcoats instead of giving you the God-honest truth. Cut out people who talk about success but never take action. And join groups where real entrepreneurs and winners gather. Find a mentor, not a cheerleader, someone who actually challenges you. Look at your circle right now. Are they pushing you to level up, or are they just clapping for the same version of you? Listen, if you're the smartest, most ambitious person in your group, it's time to find a new one. And yes, this will be hard, but it is absolutely necessary. Success requires you to change, or else this current version of you would already have everything they ever wanted. There's a version of you out there that's stronger, sharper, unstoppable, but you won't meet them by staying comfortable. You meet them in the struggle, in the grind, in the moments where most people quit. And the reason most people fail is because they don't stick to something for that long enough. They chase the next shiny object, hopping from one thing to another, never building true momentum. So understand this, when things get tough, most people have already given up. If you push through, you automatically get ahead of them. Now listen to me carefully. I've just given you the principles that took me years to learn, and I'm taking this a step further, something that none of these so-called gurus ever did. And I don't normally do this, but for the next few days, I'm giving you a chance to get your biggest question answered directly by me. No fluff, no recycled advice, just straight up answers from somebody who's actually done it. From this broke university student to becoming a millionaire in my 20s, I've seen it all. I know what works and what's a complete waste of time. So if you want me to answer your question, here's exactly what you need to do. Send me your biggest question about mindset or success on Instagram. No small talk, no fluff, and I'll only answer if it's related to success or mindset. That's the rule. In the DM, you must include the action that you think will solve your problem. If you're not willing to think for yourself, don't even bother. And the next step is to follow me on Instagram at Jose Rojas with 0. And I'm only doing this for people like you that are in my circle. Do this and I'll personally reply with my take on your problem. The only rules are that the question needs to be related to success or mindset. You must follow me and tell me about your action that you think will solve your problem. That's it. I'm making this extremely simple for you, and I'm doing this because when I was starting out, I wanted advice like this, and I was ready to spend thousands of dollars, but no one was doing anything like it. You already waste time on social media, so why not just shoot a simple DM that can solve your biggest problem? But I'm not doing this forever, so once my DMs fill up, I'm out. So if you're actually serious, this is your shot to get real answers from someone who's actually done it. Time to make shit happen. I'll see you there.